Come on, Bo. Hello, good morning. Are we all well? The weather is increasingly getting worse. The wind's up and it's getting stronger. The rain's getting heavier and I'm down to about 4 logs for the wood burner. So before I can do anything in here, I'm going to have to move some logs from the side round to the terrace. Once it gets to Sunday, we go from wet, windy, rainy to -5. So I need to make sure I've got enough firewood. I want to carry on with the ceiling build in here over the next few days, but also I'm committed just to finishing the bathroom build. Not shown you the bathroom for a while, and it's actually nearly finished apart from the vanity unit. And whilst I'm doing all that, I need to keep my ear out for a delivery because I've got something really exciting coming today. Okay, so as soon as I started moving firewood, the post lady came. I don't know whether you heard the on beep. So I've moved a couple of barrels of firewood and now I'm okay for a couple of days. Still need to cut some more before the real cold spell comes. This package I've been waiting to come for about 2 weeks. Christmas and New Year being in that mix. And I'm really excited about the contents of it, so I'm actually going to break from what I was planning to do this morning and open this and we can have a look, because it should make a big difference to this workshop. Now, some of you guys have been telling me that I should get one of these, and actually I'd put things in motion before you told me that. Lynn and I watch a YouTube channel called Frankie Off Grid, one of our favourite channels, and the channel's about a couple who live off-grid in Portugal, and I saw them installing one of these just before Christmas and I thought, why has that never occurred to me? So I went online and had a look at them and found that my friends at Banggood stock them, so I said, would you like to send me one? And here it is. And it is, of course, a diesel heater. For those who saw the first video I made about doing the workshop up over Christmas, where I went shopping, you notice I was looking for a jerry can, and then I went back to the petrol pump and filled it up with diesel. That was for this. Quite a nice size, really. I'm not an expert on these things. The first one I've ever had and the first one I've ever touched, so looks like a big sandwich box. Okay, so there's the diesel tank. That's quite small. I can fill it up with that little flap as well. And then on the back I've got, there's a cable, there's a little remote, and then on the top there is the control unit. We'll look at that more in detail in a minute. And then in the box is another package, and there's some instructions. So this is made by a company called Mudiro, and I think they're around about £100, €100, give or take a few. When I started looking online at them before Christmas, I was actually amazed how cheap they were. Kind of thought they'd be £300, but actually they're a fraction of that. Now, I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube over the Christmas period about these, so I've got a little understanding how they go together. And the thing that sticks in my mind from all those videos is They work really well once you get them going, but the priming process is a little bit laborious, so we'll see if that's true when we get there. So in this box we've got a little exhaust pipe, we've got a little silencer, we've got the grill for the heat blower, which I've thrown on the floor. That, I believe, is the air intake pipe. That's a air filter for the end of the air intake, and that is the pipe where the heat comes out. That fits on the end of. And then a bag of various bits of fixings, Jubilee clips, pipe clips, screws. So that's the contents of the packaging. The heat outlet goes there. So that goes on there, the Jubilee clip goes on there and there, I assume. Now the other thing that I need to make this work, and I hope I've done my research correctly here, it runs off 12 volts. These are actually designed as a parking heater for lorries and camper vans. In fact, a friend of mine, I found out, has one of these in his camper van. So they run off 12 volts, a car battery if you like. Now I don't have a car battery in here, but one of the longer term goals I have for this space is to make it run off grid way down the line yet. This would work perfectly off a 12 volt battery. So the other day I also opened this Amazon package I bought, and I bought, among various things, an AC DC power transformer. So this will output 12 volts from the mains to get this started. Now I had a look at a few of these, and if I were honest, I actually cancelled my first order I had on Amazon because I bought one that was like a laptop charging cable that had a cigarette lighter on the back, because I thought I'll just put a cigarette lighter on here. But actually it only put out a couple of amps, and I did notice when I was reading the instructions for this, even though it runs on a very small ampage, I think it's just 1 amp, startup power needs 8 amp, so I needed to buy something a little bit more meatier. This weren't a lot of money, I think it was 22 euros, so 20 quid maybe. Never had one of these before, so I'm gonna have to hook this up. I'm guessing the way it looks is probably designed more for computers, but 240 or 220 volts in, earth, neutral, live, and then 12 volts out. I could actually look at like I can run 3 devices off this. And then there's an adjuster just to dial in the voltage. I think this is a variable voltage between about 10 and 14 volts. So you can just, with a screwdriver, you can just twist it to dial into 12 volts. Now I understand that this unit, the display on this unit actually tells you the voltage that's coming into it. So I should be able to just adjust that to get it to 12 volts. As it's billed as a 12 volt unit, it should work straight out the box at 12 volts. So I need to put a cable on there and a plug on there, and then I need to connect that into this. Until I do that, then none of this is going to work. The other dilemma with this unit is I don't quite know where to put it. Obviously with it having an exhaust system, it's going to emit fumes, toxic fumes. So the exhaust system, at least, needs to go outside. So it gives me 2 choices. Do I put this unit in here and just run the exhaust outside? Or do I put the whole lot outside and just leave the pipe inlet into the workshop? Now, we're not going to get round to that today. I'm going to have to work out, once I see this in operation, what to do with that. But let me know your thoughts, because I'm quite intrigued how to incorporate it into the workshop. One thing I was thinking is when I bordered the back wall, I never did under the window because I was thinking of future expansion. I was actually thinking about the electricity supply coming in there, but that's now comes in through the sidewall. I could actually put this under the unit with the exhaust outside. I just have to put some kind of cowl on the outside because I assume it's going to be hot. And obviously I've got 2 dogs running around the garden, so I don't want them to sniff or lick something that's hot. But that's a consideration, and a consideration for later. Let's get the thing wired up and fired up first. Right, I need a piece of cable for that, and I need a plug. Right, it's wired up and the LED turns on, so I know that the electrics are working. The next thing I need to do is actually put all the bits and pieces of exhaust on it. The instructions, by the way, is in multitudes of language, but there's actually only 4 pages per language, so that's good. I suppose I don't really need at the moment to put the cowl and the pipe on, but I do need to put the exhaust and the heat exchange on. Now we'll put it together and see if we can get it fired up. Obviously I don't want to run it in here for too long because it's poison gas. It's a bit drafty in here and I can always open the window or the doors, so I'll be all right for a few minutes just to make sure it all works. Priming process is just something that's in the back of my mind that it may be laborious, so I don't want to stand outside in the freezing cold and the wet to do that. Everything seems to go on the bottom. There we go, in there. So we've got the 2 pipes in here. I'm guessing that's the fuel pipe that comes through from the fuel pump. Looks like it's going to be in the way slightly. I'm going to have to move that out of the way. I just need to find out which is the air outlet and which is the exhaust outlet. Now looking at that, the exhaust then is on the front of the unit, on the where the hot air comes out there, as well as this having a little integrated fuel tank. I'm sure if you're going to put it in your camper van or similar, you can just plug it directly into your main fuel tank. So really there's not that much to do to put it together. If there is a complication, it's going to be in this. We've got a couple of clips, pipe clips to clip the pipes in place. Don't really need them just at this second. So what I actually need are these 4 Jubilee clips, and 1 Jubilee clip goes in on there. Quite sure how easy it's going to be to tighten them up with it being in there. Air intake unit has a Jubilee clip on. I just have to move that fuel pipe out of the way, and then we've got a Jubilee clip on there with the little muffler that's also got little screws in there, which are mounting kit screws. This muffler has a little tiny hole in it, and my understanding is when it's mounted, it mounts like that, so any moisture that builds up in this muffler drains out from that hole. And the little air intake. Right then, how do I get them in there then? That's a bit awkward in there, look. I suppose a spanner will do it. Tighten it up a bit first. Might be some time here. It's just a little bit awkward with that pipe being in the way. We're cooking on gas, actually diesel. So that comes out of the bottom, that comes out of the bottom. We probably need something to stand them up. Exhaust, check. Air intake, check. Elastic trickery, check. So what does its instructions say? It says put all that together. Yep. Tells how the engine works. Ignition plug. Remote control function. Matching codes. They're all about codes. They're all about codes, setting timers, pump activity, glow plugs, fan rotation settings, voltage settings, so we can read the voltage that this is kicking out via the display. I'll just put some diesel in it, I think. It doesn't actually mention about putting diesel in it. I'm guessing I undo that and just fill that full of diesel. Right then, let's see if we can do this without spilling it all over the... Apparently, when it's a full tank, can run for about 40 hours on a low set. That tank must be bigger than it looks. It looks tiny, but it's disappearing somewhere. Right, that's about half full. Right, let's see how easy it is to start it then. So my understanding is with this display is that it comes out. Obviously, if you're going to have it in your camper van, you'd want it on the wall of your camper van. You won't want to climb under your camper van to... And actually, it looks like it's on quite a long cable, which is actually on like a push fit. So I can actually have this on the wall of the workshop. And then with the remote control, it has a range of 50 metres apparently. So in theory, I could have this in the house. I could turn the heating on, and when I get in here 10 minutes later, it'd be nice and warm. Right then, I guess I just turn it on. So you guys can see what I'm up to. Let's see. Let's stick on there. It's a bit sticky. See if I can stick it on there and then we can see what I'm doing. So that says P12 at the moment, and it says 00, which I guess is about Setting the time, that's what instructions I have. There's a lot of writing. So it says for the battery I need a 12 volt V27A for the remote. It says but not include. Don't say not included, it actually says not include. So if that's the quality of the instructions, I might be in trouble. So there's a OK button that says P12. What does P12 mean? Is that an error code? All the error codes start with E. So OK. Set the time. I'm not bothered about setting time unless I absolutely have to. Pump capacity setting, fan. I want to know how to prime it. And I do know from watching other videos that when it's priming it makes a series of clicking noises. There's a little thing there which is the glow plug, which like any diesel engine, the glow plug sets show 12 volts. Why isn't there a page it just says about how to start it? In the unset state, press the up regulation button. Meanwhile, press the confirm button for more than 3 seconds. I guess that's the confirm button. Not really know which is the up button. Okay, because it just seems to show. Okay, well, that's blowing. The fan's blowing. It shows on there the fan's blowing, and it is blowing. Obviously, it's. Well, there's a little red light come on there. I don't know if there's any fuel in the tank, in the engine. It goes off a bit quick, 14 degrees. The temperature in here is, at the moment, is 11.9 degrees. There's 2 little arrows here, flashing either side. Oh, it's making a noise. There's nothing coming out of the exhaust, but them 2 little... Ooh, it's doing something. Maybe it's self-priming itself. It doesn't seem to mention anything about the priming. Oh, it's getting faster and faster. It's getting louder. It's getting noisier. It's taking air in the back. It's blowing air out of the front. Pumping noise is getting louder and louder. Actually, it sounds like it's an aeroplane going to take off. Ah. And there is warmth coming out the end of there. That's definitely hot. Well, warm. And that exhaust, that exhaust is hot. Okay. Right, I better just open the doors. Now if you can see this, there's actually some fumes coming off there. That is really hot. Whoa. God, it's windy out there. So the window's open there. The doors are open there, and it's a really blustery day, so there's plenty of airthrow. What I'm quite concerned about, actually, is how hot this is. I don't want to melt my... That is really hot. And that... is blowing out a lot of hot air. That's lovely. I don't want to melt my... You can see it's smoking. It is a brand new unit, and anything that's brand new has oil out and grease on it from the factory. So I think I actually did see somebody on YouTube saying run it for an hour, get all the gunk burnt off it. But I'm amazed that it just started. I didn't have to go through a priming thing. There is loads of videos on YouTube about how to prime these things, and people getting quite upset because they can't get them going. The instructions doesn't say anything about priming process, which means they've either skipped that in the instructions or it just doesn't need doing. It's just self-priming. And on that evidence, absolutely is self-priming. Now the smell's gone now. Obviously I've opened the windows, so we're getting a bit stinky in here. Take that off. There. My cup gone. Let's put this as 12 degrees. Let's put that there. 12 degrees. That is so warm. Ooh, lovely. It's going to be brilliant in here. That is really, really cosy. Now also I understand when you turn these things off, you can't just pull the plug out. It actually has to go through a full cooling down cycle. So you press the off button and it goes through a cycle and actually draws air in and kind of blows cool air through the system to cool it down, and then it turns itself off. So I'll do that in a bit, but this is brilliant. We're up to 13.3 degrees in here. So I just need to work out now where I'm going to put this. I did touch the exhaust and it is very, very hot. It's burning hot. So I will need to be very careful where I place this exhaust. I don't want anybody to get burnt, and I certainly don't want Grace and Bo to get burnt. So let me know if you guys have got something similar in your workshop. Let me know how you've got yours set up. We're up to 14 degrees. I'll put the links to this in the description of the video. In a minute I'm going to turn it off, watch it go through its cool down cycle and think where temporary I can put this. I suppose the other thing as well is that it's quite a strong airflow. Probably got to consider it blowing dust around the workshop. I'm really happy. I hate being cold, so I am so happy to have this. It's absolutely toasty in here now. I think I'm going to turn it off now because I don't want that issue with the fumes. I think I've pushed my luck with it enough. Let's see if I can work out how to turn it off and let it go through its cooling off cycle. I guess I just press that. Off. I guess that's it. It's still sucking air in. It stopped. It's just going down slowly. The fans are still going. I had to move my thermometer in the end. It got up to 41 degrees. Summertime temperatures in here, 41 degrees. So I think I've made a little executive decision on where I'm going to put this just for now. I'm just a bit worried about plumbing it in down here and putting it in the wrong place, especially if I'm going to put an hole in. So I think I'm just going to, where this piece of plasterboard is here, move it out of the way, because at the moment I'm not developing this end, everything's at this end. I think I'm just going to make a little bracket, put it on the wall here and put the exhaust out. There's a few little holes in the wall anyway, knot holes. I could maybe find one and just put it through a knot hole. It's getting louder again. Obviously still going through its cool down cycle, and it's a bit less dusty at this end as well, because most of the dust takes place at this end. So I'm going to let it cool down because that exhaust pipe is really hot. Let me know if you've got one of these. Should I put the air inlet outside as well? Probably just make a little drip mold so it's not getting too weathered. I'm really pleased with it. I'm so excited. It's going to make such a big difference in here. I've got some more Banggood tools that they've sent me over the last few weeks to show you. And to be honest, when I've been coming in here and doing the renovation work, I'm moving around, and so I'm warm even though I've been muffled up. But just the thought of standing at the bench for an hour filming a tool review puts me off a bit. But now I've got this, I can be in here all day. Right, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to turn the camera off, leave that to cool down for a bit. It's probably been going through its cool down cycle for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And then I'll see if I can rig something up, and then we'll give it another burst before the end of this video. Oh, that's lovely. So this is my new spot in the workshop here. Wow, that's lovely on the back of the head. I'm really impressed with that. So we've unboxed it. We know it works. Not 100% understand what all the functions are. But if I'm honest, I'm not that bothered. It turns on, it warm. Get too warm, turn it off. That's all I really want. I can't see that I'll have it on a timer to come on and go off because my timing here is very ad hoc. This works, so I will turn it off with this tonight and then in the morning. And then in the morning I'll see if I can turn it on from in the house. A little bit of research about the inlet, and some people seem to have it on the inside, some people have it on the outside. For now, it's perfect there. The exhaust is outside and it's high enough up the wall, out of the way of Bo and Gracie, more importantly. But what I'm going to do is obviously drilled an hole through the wall, a bigger hole in the wall because the exhaust gets hot. I've got all these offcuts of plasterboard from the bathroom, so I've put that on there, and tomorrow when it's light I'll finish off on the outside. I'm going to put another piece of plasterboard on the outside, so the hot pipe is actually going through plasterboard rather than timber. The hole in the timber is much bigger. And then on the outside I'm going to make a little box, might even put it on a French cleat, a little box on the side, line it with plasterboard so the timber is not getting direct heat, and then I can just hook the box on, leave a little hole in it so the exhaust can blow out, but I'll just hook the box on, and if I need to get into it for any reason I can just take the box off. And I'm going to do the same on the inside, so I'll basically just mount a box over this. I've got all this plasterboard, so I can make it out of plasterboard and just have the control set out, and then when I need to put some more diesel in I can just hook the box off, put diesel in and put it back on, and then I'll bring the box down here. So I'll keep this air intake for now anyway on the inside of the box, and hopefully it can draw air up underneath but not fill itself full of dust. So we'll try that. If not, the other option is just to put another hole outside and then put this outside. Let me know what you think, guys, if you think differently. I'm open to suggestions because certainly not my area of expertise this. But I'm going to end this video here. We'll continue it tomorrow, which will be in a further video for you guys. But thank you for Banggood for sending this. It might actually be a lifesaver, especially this next week when it's going to be -4, -5 Monday, Tuesday. Be interested to see how warm we get in here. I've already got the workshop up a degree, and now we've got this, we can carry on in here nice and comfortably. And also I need to do some of them tool unboxing videos for stuff that Banggood have very kindly sent me. Right guys, I'll see you later. As usual, all the links are in the description. I'll see you later guys, bye.